When we think of tasting, we typically associate the action with the mouth, but for butterflies, this process is radically different. These beautiful insects possess an unusual evolutionary adaptation. They taste food with their feet. This seemingly bizarre mechanism is a sophisticated feature that has evolved over millions of years, offering butterflies a specialized and highly effective way to detect suitable food sources. The secret lies in the chemoreceptors, tiny sensory structures found on the butterfly's feet. These chemoreceptors are sensitive to chemicals in the environment, particularly those released by plants. When a butterfly lands on a plant, the chemoreceptors on its legs make contact with the plant's surface and begin to taste it. Detecting whether the plant contains the right nutrients, sugar content, or other chemical markers that signal it is a suitable host for laying eggs or a good food source. The reason for this unique adaptation stems from the butterfly's evolutionary needs. Unlike mammals or other creatures that have highly developed oral taste mechanisms, butterflies need to maximize their ability to find food and reproduction sites quickly and efficiently. Instead of spending time exploring the surface of plants with their mouthparts, butterflies can sense the quality of a plant as soon as they land. This behavior makes them incredibly effective pollinators, as they can quickly identify plants rich in nectar or those with the right chemical composition for egg laying. This adaptation also protects butterflies from wasting energy on plants that aren't suitable for feeding or reproduction, which is vital for survival in their often delicate and fast-paced lives. Moreover, this method of tasting through their feet plays a crucial role in their overall biology. Butterflies, as insects, rely on their ability to find and feed on plants that are rich in nutrients, particularly sugar, which provides them with the energy needed to sustain their long migration routes or daily foraging activities. The chemoreceptors on their feet are finely tuned to detect specific chemicals released by plants, including sugars, amino acids, and even plant toxins. This allows butterflies to be highly selective about where they feed and lay eggs, ensuring that they only interact with plants that provide the best chance for their offspring's survival. Interestingly, different species of butterflies may have slightly different chemical receptors on their feet, meaning that their preferences for food and egg-laying sites can vary based on both their evolutionary history and the plants available in their environment. The relationship between butterflies and their feet as tasting organs also reveals a fascinating aspect of the evolution of sensory mechanisms across species. While many animals rely heavily on their sense of taste through the mouth, insects like butterflies have evolved multiple ways to interact with their environment using their bodies in specialized ways. In fact, butterflies are not alone in using their legs as taste sensors. Some species of ants, moths, and even some types of flies have developed similar mechanisms, showing that this kind of sensory adaptation is advantageous for certain groups of insects. For example, moths also use their antennae to detect pheromones, and ants use their antennae and legs to communicate and taste food. These examples suggest that sensory adaptation is a critical survival mechanism in the insect world, where efficiency in locating resources is paramount. This method of tasting through their feet also reflects the intricate connections between an insect's anatomy and its ecological role. A butterfly's feet are not just for landing but are multifunctional tools that integrate sensory input from the environment with the butterfly's behavior. The tiny, specialized hairs on the feet, known as setae, play a key role in this process by detecting the chemical signals released by plants. When these hairs make contact with the surface of a plant, they send a signal to the butterfly's nervous system, which processes the information and helps the insect decide whether the plant is suitable for feeding or egg-laying. These setae are incredibly sensitive, allowing butterflies to effectively assess the quality of the plant in seconds. This highly specialized sensory system is an example of how nature optimizes biological functions to ensure survival and reproduction in a competitive environment. Additionally, this adaptation raises questions about the interplay between chemical communication and ecological dynamics. Plants and insects have evolved alongside each other for millions of years, with each species developing specific ways to interact with the other. For instance, certain plants produce chemicals that attract specific butterfly species for pollination, while others may produce toxins or deterrents to protect themselves from being eaten or used as a host for eggs. Butterflies, in turn, have developed chemoreceptors that allow them to taste these chemicals with remarkable precision, enabling them to identify the plants that best serve their biological needs. This creates a complex web of interactions between plants, butterflies, and other pollinators, in which each species adapts and responds to the evolutionary pressures of the other. As butterflies continue their delicate dance with their environment, their ability to taste through their feet exemplifies how even the smallest, seemingly insignificant traits in the natural world can have vast implications for an entire ecosystem. These tiny chemoreceptors not only enhance the butterfly's efficiency in feeding and reproduction but also influence the pollination of plants, contributing to the health and sustainability of ecosystems. Through their feet, butterflies navigate an invisible world of chemical signals, offering a glimpse into the broader tapestry of life and the intricate mechanisms that sustain it, as we continue to delve into the fascinating world of butterfly biology. It becomes clear that the ability to taste food with their feet plays a pivotal role not only in their feeding habits but also in their reproductive strategies. The sensory mechanisms of butterflies have evolved to maximize their chances of survival and reproduction in often unpredictable and competitive environments. By detecting chemicals released by plants through their feet, butterflies gain immediate insight into the plant's suitability for laying eggs. This ability allows them to make quick decisions about where to deposit their offspring, which is a crucial aspect of ensuring that the larvae will have access to the right kind of food upon hatching, for many butterfly species. The decision of where to lay eggs is not arbitrary. It is driven by the chemical composition of the host plants, which provide essential nutrients to the caterpillars once they emerge. Some plants are specifically adapted to support the growth of butterfly larvae, containing specific chemicals that encourage development and growth. Other plants may contain toxins or other deterrents that could harm the caterpillars or hinder their growth. Through their feet, butterflies can taste these chemical signals and make critical decisions about which plants are suitable for egg laying. This ensures that the next generation of butterflies has the best chance of thriving. This foot-based tasting ability also demonstrates a deeper connection between butterflies and their environment. It highlights how these creatures have evolved to interact with their surroundings in an intricate and highly specialized way. While many animals use their mouths to taste food, butterflies have taken this sensory function to another level by incorporating it into their locomotion. By sensing their environment with their legs as they land, butterflies gather important data that informs their behavior. This adaptation is particularly advantageous in environments where suitable host plants may be sparse or hidden among other vegetation, allowing butterflies to efficiently search for and identify the best sites for feeding and egg laying. It also explains why butterflies are such effective pollinators. They are constantly landing on plants, gathering vital chemical information, and transferring pollen in the process. Moreover, the evolutionary significance of this adaptation cannot be overstated. In the natural world, the competition for resources is fierce, and survival often depends on the ability to make quick and accurate decisions. Butterflies that are able to taste plants with their feet have a competitive advantage in finding the right host plants for their larvae, reducing the likelihood of wasting time and energy on unsuitable plants. In essence, this ability streamlines the entire life cycle of the butterfly, from the feeding of adults to the successful growth of larvae, which can significantly enhance their reproductive success. This also sheds light on the broader concept of coevolution between plants and pollinators. Just as butterflies have evolved to taste plants with their feet, plants have evolved to attract specific pollinators through the chemicals they release. These chemicals, which can include sugars, pheromones, or other scent markers, play a critical role in attracting butterflies and other pollinators to the flowers. This mutualistic relationship benefits both the plants and the butterflies. While the butterflies gain nourishment from the plants ensure their reproduction by getting pollinated. In this sense, butterflies' feet become an important tool for maintaining the delicate balance of ecosystems, where both plants and pollinators rely on each other for survival. This intricate web of relationships extends further into the realms of ecology and biodiversity. The way butterflies interact with their environment, by using their feet to taste plants, contributes to the larger health of ecosystems. As pollinators, butterflies are crucial for the reproduction of many flowering plants, which in turn support a wide array of other organisms. Their role in transferring pollen helps sustain plant diversity, which is key to maintaining healthy ecosystems. These diverse ecosystems provide food and habitat for countless species, from insects to larger animals, forming a complex network that supports life at all levels. Interestingly, the ability to taste with their feet also influences how butterflies adapt to environmental changes. As the climate shifts, many plants may alter their chemical composition in response to changing conditions. The butterfly's ability to taste these changes with its feet enables it to adapt to new plant species, even if they are not part of its usual food range. This flexibility in finding and adapting to new food sources could prove essential in the face of climate change, where rapid shifts in plant distribution and composition are expected. Butterflies with finely tuned sensory abilities will likely have a better chance of surviving and reproducing in these new conditions, making their foot-based taste sensors a key evolutionary advantage. Furthermore, this sensory adaptation underscores the complexity of insect behavior. It is easy to underestimate the cognitive capabilities of small creatures like butterflies, but their ability to process complex environmental cues through such specialized sensory organs shows a sophisticated level of perception. The chemoreceptors on their feet allow butterflies to gather and process chemical information with remarkable precision, making them highly attuned to their surroundings. This ability to taste the world as they land on different plants shows that butterflies do not passively interact with their environment, rather, they actively engage with it in an intelligent and calculated manner. This specialized foot tasting mechanism is also a reminder of the evolutionary diversity of the insect world. While some species have developed complex mouthparts for tasting and feeding, others, like butterflies, have adapted to use their legs as sensory organs. This diversity in how different species perceive the world highlights the vast array of evolutionary paths that animals have taken to survive and thrive. Each species develops sensory systems suited to its specific needs, and in the case of butterflies, the ability to taste food with their feet has been honed to perfection through millions of years of evolutionary refinement. In addition to its biological and ecological implications, the process of tasting with feet also serves as a valuable point of interest for scientific research. By studying how butterflies use their feet to detect chemicals, researchers can gain insight into the broader mechanisms of chemical communication and sensory processing in other organisms, including humans. The chemoreceptors on a butterfly's feet work in ways that are similar to other sensory organs, such as the nose or the tongue, providing valuable comparisons for how different species have adapted to detect and interpret chemicals. Understanding these mechanisms can also help in developing more efficient pest control methods, as researchers can learn how to manipulate these chemical signals to influence butterfly behavior in both natural and agricultural environments, through their feet. Butterflies offer a fascinating glimpse into the wonders of evolution, sensory adaptation, and ecological interconnectedness. Their ability to taste the world beneath them in such a unique and specialized way allows them to thrive in environments ranging from tropical rainforests to temperate meadows. This adaptation, while seemingly small in the grand scale of nature, plays a crucial role in their survival and their ability to maintain the delicate balance of ecosystems worldwide. Continuing to explore the world of butterfly sensory adaptations, we can now dive deeper into how this unique method of tasting through their feet affects their behavioral ecology and how it is intricately tied to their role in the greater web of life. The ability to taste with their feet is not just a tool for locating food, but it plays a central role in the way butterflies interact with plants, other insects, and even the broader ecosystem. As butterflies land on a plant, they are immediately exposed to an array of chemical signals. These signals tell the butterfly whether the plant is a suitable source of nectar, whether it contains toxins, or whether it is a good candidate for laying eggs. For species that rely on specific host plants for reproduction, this ability is critical in determining the success of their offspring. In addition to identifying the nutritional value of plants, butterflies also use their foot-based taste sense to detect potential threats. Certain plants produce chemicals as a defense mechanism to ward off herbivores. These chemicals can be toxic or have an unappealing taste, making the plant an unsuitable food source for many creatures. Butterflies, however, have evolved to discern which plants contain these chemicals through their feet. When they land on a plant, the chemoreceptors in their feet can detect the presence of these defensive compounds. If the chemical signals indicate that the plant may be toxic or harmful, the butterfly will move on to search for a more suitable food source. This form of chemical communication between plants and insects highlights an ancient and ongoing battle for survival, plants trying to defend themselves from herbivores. While butterflies have evolved sophisticated mechanisms to avoid these defenses, this behavioral adaptation also plays a significant role in the pollination process. Butterflies are among the most effective pollinators in the animal kingdom, and their ability to taste food with their feet is part of what makes them such excellent contributors to this essential ecological service. When a butterfly tastes a flower's nectar, it not only gathers food for itself but also transfers pollen between plants, facilitating the reproductive processes of the flowers. This interaction benefits both the butterfly and the plants, creating a mutually beneficial relationship. As butterflies visit multiple plants in search of nectar, their feet often collect pollen, which is then transferred to other plants, resulting in the fertilization of flowers and the continued survival of the plant species. This symbiotic relationship highlights how the sensory adaptations of butterflies support broader ecological processes like biodiversity and the growth of plant populations. Moreover, the chemical interactions between butterflies and plants extend beyond the plants themselves. Many butterflies are closely tied to specific ecosystems, and their feeding behavior can influence the composition of plant communities. For instance, by preferring certain plants over others, butterflies can help shape the dynamics of plant populations, which in turn affects the insects, birds, and other animals that depend on these plants for food and shelter. The butterfly's ability to detect subtle chemical cues on plants has a ripple effect through ecosystems. If a particular plant species is favored by a butterfly for egg laying, it may dominate an area, pushing other species out. Conversely, if a plant species is found to be unsuitable or toxic, it may prevent certain insects from establishing themselves, which could alter the entire balance of the community. In this way, the act of tasting with their feet, while seemingly simple, has far-reaching implications for the composition and health of ecosystems. Butterflies are also not alone in their use of chemical signals to interact with their environment. This method of chemical detection is widespread in the animal kingdom, particularly among insects. Many other species, from ants to moths to bees, use similar mechanisms to communicate with each other and assess their surroundings. In the case of ants, for instance, they use their antennae to taste the trails laid by other ants, following chemical pheromone paths to find food or communicate with their colony. In the case of bees, their ability to detect floral scents and flavors with precision allows them to efficiently collect nectar and pollens, ensuring the health of both the colony and the flowers they visit. These examples show that while butterflies have a particularly fascinating and specialized method of tasting through their feet, the use of chemoreception is an essential part of many species' survival strategies. The parallels between different insects demonstrate how chemical detection systems have evolved across species to help them thrive in their respective environments. As we look toward the future, the study of butterflies and their sensory abilities could offer valuable insights into environmental monitoring and conservation efforts. For example, butterflies can act as bioindicators, meaning that changes in their behavior, population size, and distribution can signal shifts in the health of an ecosystem. Since butterflies are highly sensitive to environmental factors such as climate change, habitat destruction, and the presence of pollutants, understanding how their ability to taste food with their feet is linked to environmental changes can help scientists gauge the health of entire ecosystems. By monitoring which plants butterflies are attracted to, or avoiding, scientists can assess the presence of pollutants, toxic substances, or changes in plant chemistry that may signal environmental degradation. This ability of butterflies to taste plants through their feet also invites new possibilities in the field of agriculture and pest management. Many crops rely on pollination to produce fruits, seeds, and other products. By studying butterfly behaviors and their preferences for certain plant species, agriculturalists could develop more sustainable methods for encouraging pollination and reducing the need for chemical pesticides. For instance, certain plants may naturally attract butterflies and other pollinators while repelling pests that harm crops. This could lead to more eco-friendly farming practices, where plant species are selected not only for their productivity but also for their ability to enhance biodiversity and attract beneficial pollinators. Furthermore, understanding how butterflies detect and respond to chemical cues could help in creating plant varieties that are more resilient to pests, further reducing the reliance on harmful chemicals in agriculture. This method of tasting through their feet also opens the door to exploring the broader implications of interspecies communication in the natural world. Insects like butterflies are in constant interaction with their environment, not just as passive recipients of chemical signals but as active participants in the process of ecological balance. The chemicals they detect through their feet serve as a way to communicate with the plants and other animals in the ecosystem. In turn, the plants also respond to these interactions by evolving new chemical compounds to attract or repel specific species. This dynamic, often invisible interaction between species is a testament to the complexity of life and the interconnectedness of all organisms. It underscores the importance of understanding these relationships as we strive to protect and preserve the biodiversity that sustains life on Earth. Finally, the butterfly's method of tasting through its feet highlights the astonishing complexity of evolution. What may seem like a simple behavior, using the feet to taste food, represents millions of years of evolutionary refinement. It is a perfect example of how organisms evolve specific traits to maximize their chances of survival, reproduction, and ecological interaction. In the case of butterflies, this adaptation allows them to interact with their environment in ways that most animals cannot, helping them to thrive in a diverse and ever-changing world. It also demonstrates how evolution often works in unexpected and creative ways, resulting in astonishingly specialized and efficient solutions to the challenges of life. Continuing to explore the broader implications of butterflies' foot-based taste perception, we can delve into the fascinating link between this ability and interspecies relationships, particularly within the context of mutualism. As mentioned earlier, butterflies play a pivotal role in the pollination process. But their ability to taste plants through their feet also shapes the plants they visit. This sensory adaptation directly influences the intricate coevolutionary dynamics between butterflies and the plant species they pollinate. For plants, attracting butterflies is a matter of survival. By providing nectar, they offer a food source for the butterflies. In return, butterflies inadvertently pollinate the plants as they travel from flower to flower, transferring pollen and ensuring the plant's reproductive success. However, this dynamic goes beyond just the act of pollination. Some plants have evolved to communicate with butterflies through specific chemical compounds that act as signals to guide them to the nectar. For example, many plants produce certain scents or volatile compounds that attract butterflies. These chemicals can influence the butterfly's decision-making process by signaling the presence of nectar or a suitable environment for laying eggs. By detecting these chemical cues through their feet, butterflies can navigate complex plant landscapes, selecting plants that offer not just nourishment but also the right conditions for reproduction. This feedback loop benefits both the butterfly and the plant, creating a mutually beneficial relationship where each species helps the other thrive. This kind of mutualism is a key aspect of ecological balance, and the butterfly's foot-based tasting ability is central to maintaining these delicate interactions. Interestingly, this form of communication between butterflies and plants is not just about taste but also about visual and olfactory cues. While butterflies primarily rely on their feet to taste food, they also use their compound eyes to detect the color and shape of flowers, which can further guide them to the most suitable sources of nectar. In fact, some species of butterflies have developed a preference for specific flower colors or patterns, and their feet-based sensory system complements this by helping them determine whether a plant is a good source of food or a suitable location for egg-laying. For example, many butterflies are attracted to flowers that emit sweet scents or have vibrant colors. But once they land on the flower, their feet help confirm whether it holds the right chemical signals. This multimodal sensory approach enhances the butterfly's ability to forage efficiently and supports its role as a pollinator in the ecosystem. Moreover, the ability to taste with their feet could also influence butterfly migration patterns. Many species of butterflies, such as the monarch, are known for their long-distance migration. These butterflies travel thousands of miles from their breeding grounds in North America to overwintering sites in Mexico. During their journey, they rely heavily on a range of sensory cues to navigate, including chemical signals from plants. The ability to taste with their feet allows butterflies to identify and select the best plants to stop at along their migration route, ensuring they have access to food sources at each stage of their journey. In this way, their foot-based taste receptors not only help them feed but also play a role in the broader context of their seasonal movement and survival. Additionally, the phenomenon of chemical mimicry plays a significant role in the interaction between butterflies and plants. Some plants have evolved to produce chemicals that mimic the scent or chemical markers of other plants, luring butterflies to them even though they may not provide the right nutrients. Through their feet, butterflies can detect these chemical signals, allowing them to avoid such misleading plants. This is an example of how evolution works to refine and enhance the butterfly's ability to assess its environment. Plants that use deceptive chemical signaling in an attempt to attract butterflies without offering any benefits are eventually weeded out through this selective process. The butterfly's foot-based sensory system acts as a fine-tuned filter, ensuring that only the most suitable plants are visited, thus maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. As this relationship between butterflies and plants unfolds, it becomes clear that biodiversity, the variety of different species in an ecosystem, is heavily dependent on these finely tuned interactions. When butterflies use their feet to taste plants, they indirectly influence which species thrive and which ones may disappear. Their behavior in selecting plants for feeding and egg-laying helps regulate plant populations, contributing to the dynamic balance of ecosystems. For example, certain butterfly species may prefer plants that are abundant in one area, thereby reducing competition for resources among plant species. In contrast, other butterflies may help maintain the diversity of a plant community by favoring a wider range of plant species. This complex interplay ensures that ecosystems remain rich in species diversity, which in turn supports a variety of other organisms, from herbivores that feed on the plants to predators that rely on the herbivores. The ability of butterflies to taste through their feet also connects to the broader themes of evolutionary resilience and adaptability. As climate change continues to alter ecosystems around the world, the relationship between butterflies and their environment is likely to face significant challenges. Changes in temperature, precipitation patterns, and the availability of plants will affect the kinds of flowers and plants that butterflies can interact with. However, the butterfly's foot-based sensory system is remarkably adaptable. As plant species evolve in response to climate shifts, butterflies will likely evolve alongside them, refining their ability to taste new plants or adapt to new chemical environments. This capacity for rapid sensory adaptation is a key factor in the butterfly's evolutionary success and its ability to maintain its place in a rapidly changing world, in the context of human impacts on ecosystems. Understanding the butterfly's sensory systems also has implications for conservation efforts. As human activities continue to encroach on natural habitats, many butterfly species are facing significant threats. Habitat destruction, pollution, and the introduction of invasive species are just a few of the challenges that butterflies face. By studying how butterflies use their feet to taste and interact with plants, conservationists can gain a deeper understanding of how butterflies assess their environments and identify suitable habitats. This knowledge could be used to create conservation strategies that protect the plants butterflies rely on for food and reproduction, ultimately helping to preserve these important pollinators. Finally, the study of butterfly foot tasting abilities can contribute to the broader field of biomimicry. This is a field where scientists and engineers look to nature for inspiration to solve human challenges. The butterfly's ability to detect chemical signals with remarkable precision could inspire the development of new technologies in areas such as environmental monitoring, agriculture, and even robotics. Just as butterflies use their feet to navigate their world and make critical decisions about food and reproduction, we might develop systems that use sensors to detect chemical signals in the environment, offering a new way to monitor air quality, track plant health, or improve pest control. In this way, the study of butterfly behavior is not only a window into the natural world but also a source of innovation for human problem solving. Through their unique ability to taste food with their feet, butterflies offer us a profound lesson in the complexity of nature and the deep interconnections between organisms and their environments.